What is up, Maplers? This is your community manager, Arwu, and with one of our updates coming up really soon, I figured why not have our very own producer for MapleStory, SavageAce.
Hey guys.
The name of this update, which is 188, is Tune-Up, and I want to know why we decided to go with this name.
So Tune-Up, we decided on that name because for this update specifically, we wanted to focus on quality of life improvements, fixing long-standing issues, some of the issues that players have been voicing concerns about, and really focus more on improving the game as a whole rather than introducing a bunch of new content. We're trying to make MapleStory overall better.
The first question, this is a suggestion that I've seen on the forum. There's a lot going on in MapleStory when you guys fight in combat, especially parties. Like when you fight against Lucid, you have multiple people on the field. You see a lot of familiars, you see a lot of androids, you have a lot of pets on the field. It's really hard to keep track of what the boss's attacks actually do and where they actually position on the map. It looks really messy, they say. What have we done in this update to address this?
In the past, we've added the ability for you to make your skills a little bit more opaque and transparent. So now we're extending that to pets, androids, and familiars.
If you have those out while you're fighting these bosses, you can actually turn those not fully transparent, but just less opaque, so that you can see more of the battle going on, more of the action, more of the boss tells, so that you can really focus on the action itself.
One annoyance a lot of Maplers had when logging back in was that the game didn't remember a lot of the UI placement. I want to know exactly how is this being taken care of?
Yeah, I know that's something, even annoying for me as a player. So some of the things that we worked on for this update is making sure that that setting, whether it's expanded or not, is saved. So things like your hyperstats, stats detail window, quest notifiers, hyper skills, inventory, those are just the tip of the iceberg, but those are probably the most impacting ones I think players would really care about and really going to be excited to see.
One of the things that is really inconsistent within the game is your EXP buff and your drop buffs. Can you give us some detail on that?
Yeah, like you said, consistency is one of the key cores of this update. Some of the EXP buffs do already function this way.
Right.
We found out certain ones don't. We have tons of items that have been added throughout the years.
Right.
So we went back and looked at every single item and tried to figure out, okay, which are the ones that don't save when you log out. So more of the items, more of the buffs that players use are now going to hopefully be retained while they log out and log back in.
On the off chance that, maybe players do come across one that isn't on there, maybe they could suggest it, then we could have that added on there.
Absolutely. We may miss a coupon or two, so that's why we rely on our players really heavily to let us know what other changes they'd like to see.
So another suggestion from the community, it's pretty hard to get familiars out on the field. There's no hotkey for them. They can't just press a button, pop their familiars out. Are there any steps that we're taking towards making familiars easier to maintain on the field?
The one thing that we were able to adjust for this update is making sure that when you change channels, your familiars stay out. Adding it to a hotkey, that's also another thing that we saw a lot of people requested. We're still looking into that, so I don't know if it'll make it in for this update, but it's definitely something that's on our radar. For the past year and a half or so, we've been trying to make improvements to the curse filter.
Adding a whitelist, changing the logic for how things are filtered, removing some words. So for this update specifically, we are adding the ability so that now when you
type something out and it's filtered, you can now see which of the words are being filtered from your chat,
so that you and your buddy can communicate a little bit better.
This is a very social game, and we want to improve the overall experience. Communication is a huge part of that, so we're definitely taking that to heart. For this specific update, what we're doing is when you select your region server, it's going to remember what server you selected. You just do it once, and then every time you log back in, it'll automatically put you in that server. Now, if you want to go back and play the other server, if you have friends on the Europe server, there's actually going to be a button to go back out, go back to the region select screen, choose the other server.
The stress that a lot of players feel towards their inventory and running out of inventory space. Is there anything that we're doing with this tune-up update that leans towards alleviating a lot of that stress towards the player's inventory?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few things that we're doing.
We're actually making a lot of improvements on this front.
For all the chair collectors out there, they'll be able to use 2 chair bags.
We know a lot of the item limits, the stack limits, were too low frankly. So we're raising a lot of that to like 3,999 so that now you can hold more of those in the same slot. Other things like Ala Minerva. I know a lot of people have been voicing their feedback on this, wanting it to stack. So now we're gonna be able to make it stack. That's also gonna stack to 999, and we're also changing Ala Minerva. It's gonna be a permanent item now.
For our last question, when you create Aran, you kind of get a preview of this clay skin tone. Mercedes, you get this kind of elf skin tone too. Why is this skin tone not available upon actual character creation? A lot of people think it's appealing, it looks nice. Is it coming with this tune-up update?
The short answer is yes, it's now going to be available. For right now, it's only going to be available for character creation. So when you create a character, you can select your skin tone. That'll be one of the options. In the future, we're going to look into adding it to coupons and stuff like that. So if you've already created a character.
It's not available there yet?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay.
Yes.
So just on character creation for now. But we're gonna bring it over, right?
We're working on it.
We're working on it, okay. We're working on it. Do we have any last words for the audience, SavageAce?
Yeah, so I just want to say, like I said, this update is about a lot of the improvements that we want to make a better Maple. And a lot of that comes from you guys. So thank you so much for all the feedback, suggestions. Please keep giving us feedback. We do appreciate it. We read it all. We do consider it. Even if we can't get to it right away, it's definitely something we crave and we love.
All right, Maplers, that about wraps it up for our interview with SavageAce featuring the tune-up update. Thank you guys so much for all the suggestions throughout all this time. Thank you guys. We'll see you guys next time with another interview, potentially in the future.